All right, you guys, we are live. Wedding Business Growth. We are live, and we are live in 3 different groups again tonight. We're excited about that in the Wedding Business Growth group, the DJs Helping DJs group, and the DJs Vault group. We're excited to be in all of these groups tonight, and we have an exciting topic tonight talking about marketing. So we're going to jump into that in just a little bit. Nick, tell me about your week, man.
Oh, I'm really excited for tonight, David, but unfortunately we had some bad news come through this week that's kind of been bogging me down, honestly. Our brother, Ray Martinez, fell to COVID this last week, and I'm devastated, man. Honestly, when you sent me that text, I was hit. I had the opportunity to go to a bachelor party this weekend for one of my good friends, which was a lot of fun, but David hit me with the news. He's like, "Hey man, I don't want you to be upset, while you're on your bachelor party, but our boy Raymar's not doing well," and my heart sunk, and it just hurt. But at least he's not. I just try to tell myself at least he's not in pain anymore, because I've heard a lot of bad stories about what happens when COVID really takes over, and just praying for everyone. I'm praying for you, man. I'm praying for his family, and I'm praying for him. So.
Yeah, it's been super tough. Needless to say, I mean, anybody who's ever listened to any of our podcasts or anything we talk about, Ray's name is going to be in there somewhere, because for me, from my standpoint, we've known each other for so long, and I mean, it's funny. We were talking. I think we even talked about this on our podcast, when you try to think back to when you first met somebody. And there's just some people in your life, and he's the perfect example of that, where you don't even really remember. It's like they were in your life forever. Yeah. They were always in your life. And so it's been, without a doubt, extremely hard. I mean, who doesn't know him in this industry? And quite honestly, if you don't know who Ray Martinez, or more affectionately known as Raymar, if you don't know who he is, definitely do your homework, because if you're a DJ, then he is one of those people we were talking about off camera before we got on here tonight. He's one of those very first group of people in our industry that really helped pave the way for anybody who's a DJ to be able to do what they do. And I'm wearing this jersey in his honor tonight, actually. Most people know I'm a Red Sox fan, but Ray, if you don't know, Ray is from New York, so he's actually a Mets fan, but when he moved out to the West Coast and was living in Arizona, he became a Dodgers fan. So, I wanted to wear this jersey in his honor tonight. So
it's awesome.
He will be very much missed, but he will not be forgotten. Absolutely. And, I was thinking before we even did the live tonight, I was like, am I even going to be able to get through doing this? And the only thing I could remember, and I think I even texted you this, and I said, Ray himself would tell me that the most important thing you can do is just remember the good times, put a smile on your face, and be professional, and do what do what you need to do. So we're doing it in his honor. We're doing it in his memory. And, I don't want this to be a sad, sappy thing. I want us to be happy and think about all the times that we laughed, but more importantly, think about all the lessons that he taught us, and think about, all the things that we can carry on to people in the future and help them with their businesses.
So many positive messages, and just absolutely incredible human beings. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys, we're going to get started here with the, we just wanted to definitely pay our respect to Raymar before we got started with the live tonight. If this is the first time you've been on the live or watching the live, a couple housekeeping things. Number one, there should be a link to StreamYard. It just is a link that you're just giving permission for Facebook to show your Facebook icon and your name. If you decide to leave a comment, we encourage you guys to please leave comments. We're going to acknowledge all of them. We're going to answer any questions. This is an interactive thing. This is not just us talking to you guys the whole time. We really want to hear your input. Ironically, we had some input already come in before we even started, so we're excited about that. And we're excited to answer some of the questions that came through. So it's up to you. I mean, you don't have to. It'll just say Facebook user if we put up your comment. If you don't accept StreamYard to let you show your name and Facebook profile photo, that's fine. But we definitely want to know who we're talking to. So we can't see on our end. If you don't accept StreamYard, we won't be able to see it on our end, simply put. But anyways, please feel free to leave comments. Please feel free to talk to us. Nick, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it,
I
David.
think we need to get started. So we're going to bring on our guest tonight. Her name is Brittany, and she's somebody that I've known for a whole, I don't know. Again, I don't even remember when Brittany and I first met each other, but we've worked together for many, many, many events. She is a marketer by trade, but she also works within the wedding industry. And that was probably the worst intro I've ever given anybody. But Brittany, come on and join us. And thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Guys, thank you for having me. I'm excited. I've known David for quite some time. Nick, you and I just met, but
yeah,
I'm sure we'll have some future conversations. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me. I want to pay my condolences also to your guys' loss and the whole DJ industry, as well as just everyone, family, friends.
Thank you for that. Since I did such a bad job, will you kind of just give us a little bit of your background and why we should listen to you about marketing tonight?
Yeah, because I have a lot of ideas, and it's kind of like free advice, and you should take it. But basically, I've been working for Coastal Coordinating with Katie for 5 years now, and I've known David throughout most of those years. We worked a lot of events, and I just came on with help marketing her business, social media, using other platforms outside of social media, which we're going to talk about in the beginning. But yeah, so I'm excited to get started.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Very good. Well, once again, guys, for those of you that are watching, for those of you that are, our guests tonight, please do not hesitate to drop any comments, any questions. We want to interact with you guys. We want this to be a very interactive event. So the more you guys comment, the more you guys ask questions, the more fun it'll be. But we also want to provide you with content. That's what Wedding Business Growth is all about. It's about helping you with the business of your business. We don't want to teach you how to be a better DJ, photographer, videographer, wedding planner, whatever part of the wedding industry you're in. We don't want to teach you how to be a better that. We just want to help you with your business and the different areas that come into being a business owner and running your business. So that's what this is all about. Hopefully we're going to be able to help you guys out. Also, people that maybe are just getting started, or maybe people that are part-time looking to go full-time, people that are full-time looking to add, more people to their staff, things like that. I know that that's talked about a lot in the DJ's Vault, and what Joe Bunn does with the DJ's Vault, amazing stuff for DJs. And we're just kind of an arm and a cog in the wheel, if you will, to help pull all that together and help you guys out with this. So tonight's topic, again, is marketing. We posted some of the things we're going to be talking about. So we're just going to dive right into these things. Brittany's going to be sharing a little bit about each topic. We encourage you, again, please, I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough. Please ask questions. Please drop comments. Let us hear from you guys. Excuse me. We definitely want to know what you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you need help with, anything as it pertains to marketing. We want to be here for you. So first topic we're going to jump right into, guerrilla marketing and getting out there. It's not just social media. That's actually interesting because a lot of people think that, all I got to do is go on social media and show everybody how awesome I am and they're going to hire me,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a fallacy, isn't it? Maybe for Brittany, for our listeners and or viewers, and for myself, I'm actually honestly not too familiar with guerrilla marketing. Do you maybe want to go ahead and explain what that means?
I think you're muted there, Brittany. We don't hear you. Yeah, you're muted there. The pleasures of live.
Last week it was me.
Yeah, I know. Last week we couldn't hear you.
I was looking through the live stream and I was like, man, my camera froze several times.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Still don't hear you, Brittany. Your audio went away. That's all right.
Yeah.
We'll get it fixed. So I'm going to take it out. There we go. Now we hear you.
Comment. I love your guys' input and any questions you have. Guerrilla marketing. Oh.
Wait.
There we go. Good.
You got you.
How do I unmute?
We got you.
We got you. No need to unmute. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now we can't.
It could just be the internet too.
Yeah, might be the internet.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes. We can hear you.
Hold on.
This is fun. This is the beauty of live TV, right? Somebody said reboot. You need to
Yeah.
reboot. It was perfect when we did our
You can
test.
hear me?
What's going on? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I swear we hear you, and then all of a sudden it goes away.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about
What
that.
happened?
So guerrilla marketing is basically surprise. Let's see. I don't know if you can. Working?
It's working in and out. It'll
Yeah.
come on for a minute and then it'll go away. All right. So it looks like she dropped out. We're going to get her back on, Nick, here in just a second.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, if you're watching, sorry about that. That's the beauty of live, live production. Sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to go. So we'll get Brittany back on as soon as we see her jump back in, and we'll get on that. I'm excited to hear her definition of marketing too.
Definitely so.
It's tough. You got to get out there and you got to be seen. And the bottom line is that if you're not constantly out there letting people know who you are and where you are, then they're not going to they can hire you. So it looks like Brittany just got back. Let's bring her back in and see if we fixed up these audio issues. Brittany, can you hear us?
I can. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Okay. Let me know if I cut out again.
Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
So I don't know. While I was gone, basically I was saying guerrilla marketing is pop-up events or any kind of surprise event. You guys are good, right? I feel like
yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
I kind of rebooted my website, so thanks to whoever said that. It's basically a surprise event in the community, and it's a great way to build a connection as opposed to social media marketing. Because essentially you can't fully connect via Instagram or whatever social platform you're using as well as you can doing a pop-up event. So an example would be maybe, for instance, we're going to the arts market. You can find a local business and kind of bring your booth. If you're a DJ, you could do something like a little spin the wheel. What's your first dance song? Something inviting to catch the crowd a little bit, offer them something, they'll remember you. They're probably going to follow you on social media. So you're still going to get that aspect of it. But now they're building a connection in person because at the end of the day, I think that's a little more valuable. Same with if you're a photographer, you could set up a little photo wall and take one photo of someone, do a little edit, and now they're going to remember you for future events that they may have because you've given them a piece of your product. So with that being said, I always recommend doing any pop-up event you can. If I go to my coffee shop, my local coffee shop, there's
we lost her again. Go figure, man. We're just having all kinds of technical difficulties tonight.
That's all good.
Well, while she gets back on, I'm sure she'll be able to jump back in. I want to kind of, expand a little bit on what she's saying. I think those are some pretty cool ideas to, just create something that people maybe are not used to seeing. Being in an environment where you have the opportunity to utilize the skills you have and just being a little bit creative. And I love the idea of maybe like the spinning wheel of different first dance songs, and you come up and spin the wheel and it'll tell you which first dance song is yours. And I think to her point about making connections, social media is great when people utilize it socially. But a lot of people don't, utilize social media socially. And so it becomes a very one-way, street, so to speak.
Definitely so.
All we're doing is, putting information out there, but we're not, accepting information back, and we're not creating these relationships. So I think it's important.
Right. And the point of social media is to be social. Like one of the coolest things about my personal Facebook page has become a really communal place. Like we have groups, we have we're doing wedding business growth, we have all this stuff. I feel like sometimes different platforms kind of take on a different persona. So maybe Instagram, perhaps it's almost like a splash page for potential vendors to or potential clients to look at. And it's not necessarily like very communal. It's almost like, this is where I am, this is me, this is what I do, and this is what I can offer. And I feel like that's where some people get really worked up with Instagram, because it's almost like a look at me page. Like it's like, it's a flex page versus
I like to call it a puff piece. You know what I mean?
Right.
It gives you the opportunity to really, poke your chest out and say, like I was saying earlier, look how cool I am, blah, blah, blah. Where in all reality, it should be one of those things where it gives you the opportunity to kind of show your personality. Let's be honest. I mean, if your personality is the puff your chest out and I'm cooler than everybody else, then own it and be that person. That's okay.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it should be, kind of an area where you can kind of say, this is who I am. These are my likes. These are the things that I'm into, whether it's, I don't know, some people like animals, some people like, vintage record collections, some people like the mountains and all different things. And so when you bring some of those I'm big into sports, obviously, right? So when you bring those things into your presence on social media, it allows you to attract the people that are also interested in those types of things.
Absolutely. And with social media, I've noticed that video is really amazing. I know we talked about that in previous episodes. I've just had great success with video and engagement because it's as close as you can be to actually seeing a person and hearing their voice and seeing them. Like, look at these live streams, right? Like, I've never met Brittany in person, but, this is as close as you could get, given our circumstances. So, pictures are great, but, pictures are really, they say pictures are only worth 1,000 words. So how many words is a video worth, right?
It's fair. That's very fair. Well, it looks like Brittany is back. We're going to try to bring Brittany back in. Hey guys, those of you that are watching, thanks for hanging in there. Sometimes the whether it's the internet or whether it's the weather, something's always fighting against us. So we do the best we can. And Brittany is back with us. Can we hear you, Brittany? Are you there?
Maybe.
We can see her, but we can't hear her.
So I can hear
you.
There
we go. Maybe. So I'm gonna go to a comment here real quick. I only use my social media page for customers to see what they get. I never put myself on there. I find it corny myself. Always have. You'll turn off half the people, in my opinion. Well, and I think to some extent that's a good point. But in all reality, you're probably turning off the people that you don't want to work with, anyways. If people don't really resonate with who you are, money is money. I get that. But in the long run, what is the sacrifice going to be just for the dollar? You know what I mean? So I would encourage you to not be afraid to kind of put yourself out there a little bit.
Definitely so. Yeah. It's scary. I know we did we each created a video, David, Michelle and I, we did the video, and it was hard. It's hard to kind of look at yourself in the camera. Like even right now, like it's kind of weird. But for me personally, I found that I had the opposite happen to me. So I was on my business account. I'm my own sole proprietor. I don't have any other employees or anything like that. And I had people messaging me saying, "Hey, where's your face? Like, what's your, you should put your profile, you should have a profile picture instead of the NAS Visuals, logo as your profile. You should have an actual profile picture up there." So I actually threw a profile picture up there. I'm not sure how much that, resonates with people, but I've definitely had, clients reach to me and say, "Yeah, we'd love to see, we were always like wanting to see you and, what you're all about." So it's different things for different people, for sure. Some people appreciate it. I'm sure some people could care less. But I like to push myself out of my comfort zone, because I am very much like, if I don't have to be on camera or if I don't have to, expose myself, like I definitely won't. So I love kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Even like things like tutorials and videos like that, that's still something I'm striving to do. Like I definitely want to, put some more, video content of myself out there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So somebody says, sorry guys, we can't see your name, so we can't give you credit for these comments. Somebody said Brittany needs a different Wi-Fi source. The one she's using is lagging. Yeah, we understand that. Well, she's actually on the West Coast, so they're having a little bit of bad weather out there. So we're trying to. She's texting me saying that she thinks she's going to be able to make it work with her phone. So thanks again, you guys. Thank you for hanging in there. Again, what can we do? It's live. It's not something we can just quickly edit and fix. So. We're going to try to bring Brittany back on. I see she jumped back in using her phone. So here we go. Brittany, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you
hear
me?
There it goes.
We can hear you. Stay right there. Don't move. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. I'm going to stay completely still, and I apologize.
That's okay.
No, you're good.
That's okay. It's nothing. It's no fault of yours. Don't worry about it at all.
Yeah, I wish it would have worked like it did in the beginning, but
yeah. Well, that's how it is when you test a microphone out. Who's been there where you've tested out a microphone, especially like a lapel microphone, and it worked perfectly fine, and then as soon as it was time for the ceremony, it went completely ape crap. So it happens. I can't believe I didn't just say ape shit. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with saying ape shit, right? All right. So people are excited. Look, somebody already said it. Yay, they're happy you're back. So Brittany, you are definitely the star tonight. They're happy you're back.
I appreciate you hanging in there.
And said start over. Okay, take two. Here we go. Okay, so Brittany, tell us if you would, what is it about guerrilla marketing and not just being on social media that you find very important?
Okay, so connection. I think that is going to be the base of everything tonight. Every topic we talk about is more connection. And you guys can still hear me, right? I'm going to check one more
you're
time.
Perfect.
Okay,
you're great.
All right.
Now we got you. Keep going.
Okay, so pop-up events are an example of guerrilla marketing. So just picture yourself going into your local store and you see a booth set up. I'm just getting my coffee at my favorite coffee shop. And it's maybe a local artist or a DJ or someone's doing something fun. Immediately I connect with them, one, because they're in my favorite coffee shop that I'm at all the time. Boom, connection. I'm pulling up social media because I do still like it. I'm not ever bashing it. And I'm following them because I already have a connection that I like, that they like my spot, whatever it may be. They have my attention. Then I'm probably going up to their booth because why not? And then they're capturing me in some way. So if you're doing an event, go to the arts market, go to a coffee shop, go to a brewery, set up a little space. It can be an interactive idea you're doing. Like, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but a DJ, for instance, could do maybe like, what's your favorite dance song? Or spin the wheel to get what we would think your first dance song should be. Just something silly, fun, quick. They already love you now. They're connected. They're probably following you. They're going to get married. They're going to have a party. They're going to have an event someday. And now you're on their radar. And that's, I think, is just so important. I think if you're a photographer, you could do simple things like set up a little, not a photo booth, but like a photo wall. Take a picture of them at the arts market, which people love photos. They want to post it on social media. They're going to take that picture with your edit on it because you have presets, I'm assuming. And now they have your information. They have your product. And it took not very long. So again, when there's a future event in their life, they're going to remember you. They're probably already posting it on social media. And there you have your connection made. So I think it's very valuable. And I think it's something people kind of forget about in this day and age with social media and social platforms, that we're so hyper focused on Instagram, and which is still important again, but I think there's value to personal connection in person.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. So it's not really, we're not really necessarily saying, quit doing so much on social media, but taking these opportunities that, a live opportunity, and let's be honest, like right now, we're all struggling with being able to do those, but eventually we'll be able to. Eventually these opportunities will present itself. And I think, while we were getting you back on, that's kind of what Nick and I were talking about, where like you made mention, you saw this person at a coffee shop, you like to go to that coffee shop, they're at that coffee shop, that creates a connection. And that's kind of, I think that's what we were talking about on, on social media too, is don't be afraid to kind of, pull the curtain back a little bit and let people know a little bit about you. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to put your entire life history and all your likes and dislikes and everything on there, but, don't be afraid to express a little bit of your personality, because honestly, working with people who you just mesh well with, those events just go so well. They just go super well because there's that unspoken, nobody really knows how it happened, but the connection is just there. And if you trace it back, it goes back to probably something, and not just the price you charge them, but probably something that you presented to them about yourself or about your business or about your culture that resonated with who they are.
Exactly. And I think that can go into even sales, making a connection. I don't ever just give pricing for the product. I try to get them on the phone because I want to have a conversation. I want to know about their event. I want to get personal with them, kind of build a connection somehow that I can't just do via email. Hey, here's my pricing. Here's what we can do. It's not enough. This is a big event in their life. It's very meaningful to them. And it's meaningful to us because it's the business, right? It's our business. It's our baby. But I think we have to understand their side too, and they need to connect with us. And how are we making that happen?
Yeah, really, really great points. Absolutely. Okay. Nick, you got the next one for us?
Yeah, absolutely, David. Let's jump into, are we on to, if you're not using, then you should make sure you're using right away. Instagram is not the first place people are searching for you.
Emails and contacts.
Yeah. Want to talk about emails and contacts?
Yeah, let's
Definitely.
All right.
So this is a simple one, I think, for the most part. It's something I deal with personally. And I think when I try to think about marketing ideas and business and who you're attracting and who you're not, I try to look at every generation. Like, we're not just attracting a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 30-year-old, 40-year-old. You have parents that are reaching out for their sons and daughters for their wedding. And I get so many inquiries that are the mom. I just had a sales call today with a mother for her son's wedding. So she may have not have found me on Instagram if she's not on Instagram, or there's just different platforms that different people use. So I think, not to get off track, so email and contact, I think it's important to always make sure on your website there's an email address somewhere on there. It's not just a form. A lot of companies have just a contact form that you have to fill out. And I think those are great. And I know that they help us, and I know you're going to get some information. But again, people don't have time to always fill out a form, or when you're looking, they may have maybe 10 minutes, let me do some wedding stuff or some event stuff. They're going to pull up 3 DJs. If 2 of them have to fill out a form before they can even contact them, is there a connection that they're getting from you? Because really they just want to talk. They want to hear you. They want to they want pricing. Pricing's super important, and you're going to have that clientele as well. But I think from my point of view, when I have sales inquiries, people don't want to fill out a form, and they're like, yeah, I have to fill out that form when I get time. But if you have a direct email, and they're probably going to ask you the same questions where you're like, hey, you could have filled this out on my form and we could have skipped this, but they don't have the time for that. So I think it's important to think about how easy is it to contact you when I go to your website. Is your Instagram set up for a business page? Because if you just have an email tab on your Instagram page, I don't have that app for one. So if I go to someone on Instagram and I hit email, it's like, oh, you don't have this app downloaded. And right away I'm like, I just want a contact button, and it'll give me their email address. So I think it's just little things that, especially in today's society, people need it now. They need it fast. They don't want to fill a form out. And some do. They have the time, and they'll make the time. But again, we're thinking about every single person, where they're at in their life. And I'm going based off of just sales calls I've done, working with clients, trying to book other clients. They just don't. The time is such a thing now. They don't have it. And I mean, granted, before Corona, now I feel like we all have a little more time, but when we're busy, it's hard.
I think it's a super important point. Like you said, I mean, a lot of times people are busier than ever, and let's the elephant in the room, obvious with COVID and everything, like you said, we all have more time, but in a normal everyday life that we all live, it's faster paced. There's more going on. There's, it's a boom, 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 boom. And you're right. People really do want to, just get some quick answers. And at the end of the day, you should really, as the business owner, you should really want to be able to talk to them too. I think people totally underestimate nowadays the power of actually being able to physically talk to somebody. I know that most people want to type or text, but you can't make a connection as well that way. And so somebody had mentioned to me before about that. I used to have this form on our website, and I granted I could probably go back and whittle it down even more, but we used to have a form on our website that was really extensive for the exact reason, like you said, because this is all the stuff we need to know. And then somebody said to me one time, but number one, if they're not going to hire you anyways, none of that is relevant. So it doesn't matter. All they really need to give you is a way to get back in touch with them. And then once you do that, and it's okay, maybe even ask them, what is your preferred form of contact? Is it text? Is it email? Is it a phone call? Do you mind if I actually pick my phone up and dial it and talk to you? Is that cool with you, right? So like whichever they're cool with, it gives you the ability to get in touch with them, and then they're going to give you all that information anyways. We shouldn't be just,
Exactly.
People are going to say, well, I won't know what kind of price to give them. Then don't give them shit until you talk to them. That's the easiest solution to that. Just don't give them anything, right? Like, talk to them. And it's okay with being like, listen, to be honest with you, I've been sitting in my office like all day today waiting for somebody to get in touch with me. I need human contact right now. Is there any way I can call you? I know that sounds a little cheesy, but my point is just like, there's nothing wrong with actually talking to people. So we don't need this whole slew of, where's the wedding going to be? What's the wedding date? What's the times? What's your bridesmaids' names? Are you going to be doing the chicken dance? Blah, blah. Like, we don't need to know all that shit. Like, just need to know how to talk to each other.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, those are really great points. And just something else I would like to add on to Brittany's point is where the positioning of where that phone number and email is actually on your website. Like, if someone's going to come up to your website, the chances are like they're not going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Like that stuff should be like right at the top, just from personal experience. I know when I'm scrolling through websites, I'm looking for information. Like, I just want it like right on the top. I know that's a little lazy, but I mean, it's just like you said, no one has the time in our normal day and age. We are wanting information quick. And I think that's keeping that information like as accessible and easy as possible. Like, I know David has a hyperlink like on his website where if I can click the phone number and I can literally be talking to him in 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Well, and think about what you just said. Think about it from the standpoint of like a poker game. Okay. So if you already know the hand that the person you're playing against is going to deal anyways, how great would it be to know that? So if you already know that people are lazy, if you already know that people don't want to scroll all over your friggin' website trying to find your contact information, then the hand they're going to play, which is, if I can find this dude's website or this girl's website or their phone number in 2 seconds, I'm calling them. If I can't, I'm out of here. So if you already know that, you're already ahead of the game. Just put that shit up the top and be done with it. Like, you're all good. I'm on fire tonight. I
love it.
Hey guys, just a quick message again. If you guys are watching, if you just jumped on, we appreciate you being on with us tonight. We are in the Wedding Business Growth Group. We are in the DJs Helping DJs group. We are in the DJs Vault public group. We're all over the place. We're having a good time, and we thank you guys for joining us. Our special guest tonight is marketing expert Brittany, and she's given us a lot of good tips already, and we still got tons more. We got a whole list of stuff we're going to go through here tonight with you guys. Just want to remind everybody once again, please feel free to leave comments, ask questions, put those in the comments. We see all of them come through, and we're going to address all of them for you. If you want us to know who you are, because I promise you, if you don't do this, it's just going to say Facebook user, and we're going to assume that Facebook user is one person giving us 1 million comments, and we know that's not true. So there's a little link in the post that just says give StreamYard the authorization to show your name and photo, whatever. It's just a Facebook thing. Have fun with that. It's all good. It's not going to hurt you at all. But that way we'll know who you are, and then we can address you by somebody other than Facebook user. But we really want your comments. We really want your questions. I know Brittany loves answering questions, so ask away and feel free to interrupt us. We're monitoring as they go, so feel free to interrupt us. I think we put a button on the old email and contact and where it needs to be. Bottom line, don't have a big long ass form, just a few things. Second of all, put your daggum email address and your phone number as high on your website as you possibly can, and on every friggin' page. Every page. All right?
Boom.
Cool.
Pinterest.
Let's go. Here we go. Pinterest.
If you are not using
it, then you should be. But make sure you're using it the right way. All right, Brittany.
Let's go.
Lay it on us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh no, can you guys hear me? Okay,
yeah,
I feel like I'm getting a little paranoid that you can't. Perfect. So Pinterest, it's something that I think a lot of business owners, and maybe you are not thinking about, but if you are, great. I hope you're doing it the right way, and I'll kind of dive into that. It's a huge platform, especially in the wedding industry. It's super important that you have a business profile on Pinterest. So that would be the first step. Don't just create the regular Pinterest profile, turn it into a business. It analyzes all your content, everything like that. And then the most important part of posting is your title and description. So what you have to think about is, let's say you're going to post a picture of a DJ, the crowd's lively, there's glow sticks, lighting. You have to have a title. So the title needs to be captivating, and you have to think about what they're searching when they're using Pinterest. So your title should be 10 ways to use glow sticks during the reception. And then you have a description and describe what the glow sticks do and how they work, fun, and then link it back to your webpage. And it's super, super important, because if you just post a picture and there's no title and no description, it's not getting pinned. No one's finding it. And you're just posting. You're just kind of wasting time at this point. So it's super important to be doing that.
So you're saying, instead of me posting a picture of everybody on the dance floor with glow sticks and saying, look at this cool ass party I'm throwing, everybody's on the dance floor with glow sticks, you're saying, take it away from me and give it back to them and say, here are 10 reasons why you should be using glow sticks at your party. I absolutely love that, actually.
Yeah, I think that's a really awesome point.
And then they're going to click it.
Yeah, go ahead, Brittany. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry. Okay, they're gonna
okay.
So they're gonna see the pin. They're gonna love it. They're gonna save it on their board. They're gonna also double click the link, which is gonna take them to your website. So make sure you have it linked to maybe a number to reach you at on your website. Whatever page is most prominent and important for them, have it linked.
Okay.
Nice point.
Nick, did you have a point? Go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add to that was, educating people is so amazing in today's day and age. I kind of wrote about that in the article for this week. Just providing value to people and providing education, because I think people resonate with when you can provide them some sort of information or value. I think you stick out just a little bit more in their minds. Rather than just, hey, here's this cool picture, like, oh, here's something that I can give you that you're, oh, wow, I really appreciate that. Oh, and he's very knowledgeable. Oh, and he knows this. Oh, wow. Maybe I want him for my event. Wow, that's really cool. So just something I wanted to add in there.
Well, and I think that applies to everybody, no matter what they do in our industry, whether, they're a photographer, a wedding planner, a DJ, or anything. And we talk about this a lot. Let's just be honest. We all have type A personalities. We're all confident about what we do. We're all confident about how we do it. We all think we do it better than everybody else. Just ask us and we'll tell you. It's like we all get that, right? And that's okay. But it makes sense, again, to kind of take the spotlight off of yourself and put it on an educational opportunity or a suggestion opportunity that maybe somebody hadn't heard of before. They're still going to come back to you eventually. And it all, it goes back to that poker game again. Play the right hand for the game to come back to you. It seems pretty straightforward.
Right. And there's so many times where, even outside of the wedding industry, even in terms of just learning and education, when someone provides you so much value, whatever it is, you want to subscribe to whatever it is. You want to subscribe to the newsletter. You want to purchase the service that they're offering, because, oh my gosh, they've just provided me this immense amount of value. And like, what else? If you're giving this away to me for free, what else can you possibly have? So that's just something I've definitely noticed.
And we've all been tricked by that.
Yeah, that's
by
a really good
some
point.
Other business at some point in time or not.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes they come out. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes the services I get. I took this color grading class for my video stuff. The guy is so knowledgeable. Like, he went to film school in LA. I mean, he's super high end. I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, this is top quality, and I learned so much. So, I mean, you definitely can get tricked, but I've found that there are actual valuable resources at the end of that, for sure.
Well, and just real quickly, when I say tricked, I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. Yeah, like, I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I just mean it in the sense that, somebody provided us value. Mm-hmm. They didn't say, look at me, look at me, look at me. They said, here, let this help you, let this help you, let this help you. Yeah. And more often than not, when they've done that, we've gone to them and got more. We've gone to them and said, okay, thanks for the free stuff, but what can I pay for that could take me from here to here? And we've all done that. And it's the same thought process, really. It makes a lot of sense. All right, Brittany, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's
that
just a
note,
little
too,
bit
with
of a delay,
DJs.
but we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. The DJs for their Pinterest, something I think is super important, just specifically for DJs. A lot of clients that I've dealt with have zero idea that you guys do way more than just provide music. And so you could be doing like top 10 games to play at your wedding that you would be essentially hosting, or are uplighting top 5 popular uplighting for a barn venue, or you know what I mean? So I think selling the other services that people don't technically know about, which is what our clients they really never have any idea that you offer all this stuff. So it's a good form of education.
Yeah, I've always tried to remember the fact that most of the time when we're, most of the clients that we're dealing with, we have to think about it like we're dealing with somebody who is brand new born. They don't know anything about anything. They maybe have, went to a few websites or read a few magazines or had some, family member or friend of theirs tell them that this is what they need to have. But in all reality, they really don't know a lot. And so it's important for us to never assume that people know anything about what we do. And so I think that's a really great point to, really amplify and really make sure people know about all the things that you do beyond whatever your title is. If you're a DJ, you're right. Good chances they might think that, all you do is music. And it's easy for us to say, oh yeah, but that's on our website and blah, 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 blah. But if they never go to your website and their path of entry to you is Pinterest or, somewhere where you don't have these things available, then no, they're not going to know. They may never go to your website. They may come to your Pinterest page and the next thing you know, call you if your phone number's there, and it should be, and then they may never even see your website.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are great points. And also one thing else that I also wanted to mention about Pinterest, kind of like off the beaten path, but one thing that I personally didn't think about was Pinterest. And I'm gonna be totally honest, like I don't have a Pinterest set up for my business, but you know damn well I'm gonna have one after this live. But one thing to think about for anyone out there who's not, try to reverse engineer how the bride is thinking. Like I know Brittany kind of just mentioned that. Like I wasn't even in the mindset, like honestly, like it didn't even click that brides are on Pinterest. And now thinking, like hearing you say it, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. Yeah, brides would definitely be on Pinterest. So I think it's important to think in terms of the bride and not necessarily in terms of yourself. Because I got caught up in that where I honestly, Pinterest like went right over the top of my head. And I was just like, oh, Instagram and Facebook, some Vimeo because I'm in video and, I'll be good to go. YouTube maybe for SEO. But I mean, I think it's definitely important to think in terms of the bride. Where would the bride be looking for these services? Where does my target market hang out, instead of like, oh, I'm just gonna blindly try to market everywhere I can.
So I'm curious, the people that are watching right now in the comments, I want you to just real quickly, let's do a little interactive thing here. If you're watching us right now, type in the comments whether you do or do not have a Pinterest business page currently. Yes, I do, or no, I don't. Just type that in the comments if you're watching right now, if you're able to do so. I'm curious to know how many people that are watching currently have a Pinterest business page or don't have a business or try that again, a Pinterest business page. So we'll give just a second here to see if if anybody's listening and they comment and say I do or don't have a Pinterest business page. But if you don't, that's a great suggestion. I think it's a smart thing to do. And I think if you've been trying to think of, what you want to do on Pinterest, Brittany's definitely provided some really good ideas there. So I think definitely. All right. So I know we have some people watching, but maybe they're just nervous to say they don't have Pinterest business pages. That's okay. We're all right with that. Hey guys, but don't forget, please don't hesitate to drop some comments in there. If you got questions, even if it's about something we talked about before, feel free to drop some questions in there and let us know. We'll try to get all of those answered for you. All right, Nick, what do we have coming up after Pinterest?
All right, let's get going. After Pinterest, we have Instagram is not the first place people should be searching for you. I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. And I could kind of see where that's coming from, but I'd love to get Brittany's take on it if she's not frozen. Uh-oh.
I can't tell if Brittany's frozen or if she's.
I think she's just really happy. She's just really happy to be with Wedding Business Growth tonight.
She does. Hey, there's Heatherly back with us again. Hey, Heatherly, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us again tonight. Brittany is the proverbial frozen. Let's see if I can take her out and bring her back. That's so funny. See, this is what happens. We bring somebody on from the West Coast, and the weather over there is crazy, going nuts. And the next thing you know, it's like, well, she can't get on. Well, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to let her reboot and come back in again and join us. So we were about to talk about Instagram is not the first place people are searching for you. So that's an interesting one. And I hope we can get Brittany back on, because I know that at least one of our watchers tonight was definitely curious about her take on why she's a big fan of business cards. So hopefully we can get her back for that one at least, because I want to definitely hear her take on that. You guys already know kind of how I feel about those. Okay, but Instagram. So Instagram is not the first place people are searching for you. I mean, I think that makes kind of sense. There's no doubt Instagram is big. There's no doubt that Instagram is, is important, but it's not the end all fix all. And just because there's a ton of people on Instagram doesn't mean that it's, it's the only place you should be. All right, Brittany's back, so we're going to let her do her take on that, because I probably butchered the hell out of it. You back, Britt? Are you there? I can see you.
I tried to refresh it. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's see if I can get it.
No, you're good. You're good. So tell us about why. Tell us about why Instagram is not the first place people are searching for you.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people still forget Facebook is just as valuable. I personally I never get on Facebook, honestly. But a lot of people still do. And it's still super important that can you guys hear me? You're smiling.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so with Facebook, still have a Pinterest. Instagram important, but you have to think about where couples searching to find you. Going on Instagram and putting in wedding DJs in Florida, there's not a search option for that. They're not getting any information. No one's doing that right now. So I think that's a very valuable piece of information that you should really think about moving forward, and that your SEOs are up to date. You're popping up on Google. The only way you're being found on Instagram is typically if your friends are following, theirs are following, if they found you at a pop-up event, if your Pinterest is linked back to it, or someone's recommended you. So it can't search you on Instagram unless they know your name, or they're finding some kind of hashtag that they know about, right? So I think have a great Instagram. It's gonna look Instagram and people are not the initial. Did you get all that?
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, Brittany. Corey says Pinterest content created on your blog converts. Yeah, Pinterest content created on your blog converts to higher SEO. Absolutely, I think that's a smart play there, Corey, and thank you for sharing that. And I think what his point is that you want to make sure that you're linking, you're starting from your blog and you're going to Pinterest and you're linking and making it all mesh and work together. And you're right, definitely converts higher SEO versus just, for example, putting a photo in a random these places where you can upload stock photos. You can upload a photo and then you can send a link and all that crap. So that makes a lot of sense what Corey's saying. And to Brittany's point, I mean, I honestly, I don't think I ever thought about this, but you make a very valid point about most people are not going to find you. Hey, there's my buddy Dawson. What's up, man? What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Dude, Dawson, this kid right here is, man, he's an awesome DJ. That's all I can say. Is he really? Yeah, I had to give him a plug. I love you, man. I love you, Dawson. So anyways, if people don't know your Instagram name, or they don't know how to find you on Instagram, I mean, and then this leads to another point. The smart thing on Instagram would be to make something that you think people might search for. For example, if your name's available, that's a good place to start. If your company's name is available, that's a great place to start. But Skywalker 74926M is never going to frickin' be found. Nobody knows to search for Skywalker 7 million, my dude. Thank you, Dawson, man. Thank you, brother. So nobody's going to know to search for that. So yeah, like using your name, using your company name, like that's going to be super helpful, but maybe those things aren't available, and that's okay. So find something as close as possible, to those names. And then, hashtags could be another way, create a hashtag and use the damn hashtag of your business or whatever. So maybe by any chance that somebody thought that they knew the name of your business, and then say the name of your business is Los Angeles, just because I have it on, Los Angeles DJ Services, but you can't get Los Angeles DJ Services because somebody else in Los Angeles that jumped on that way before you did got that. And so the only thing you can get is LA DJ for you. Like, who the hell is going to know that ever even think to find LA DJ for you, right? But if you use a hashtag LA DJ Services, if you use that after a while, maybe somebody might actually find you that way. So, I don't know. These are just thoughts that come to my mind when we're talking about this whole Instagram thing. And I think it makes a lot of sense to be aware of the fact that people are not going to necessarily find you on Instagram. Definitely so.
And just one point that I wanted to make back on the Pinterest thing in terms of the blogging, adding the right keywords too is really important too. To Corey's point, adding the right keywords is going to be helpful too. So when your Pinterest content converts back to higher SEO on your blog, that's absolutely true. And make sure you have the right keywords in there as well. Like, you can't stuff keywords anymore. Like, I totally understand that, but definitely make sure that you're using the right keywords for sure. So
yep. Dawson says Linktree on all platforms is used as well. Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Linktree is a great service, and there's a lot of services similar to Linktree as well. So those are definitely worth looking at.
I definitely like Linktree or just any of those types of services, because it allows people to see so much more than they normally would with just a single link. Like, if I want to plug my Vimeo, like, I can absolutely plug Vimeo, and then I can also put my Facebook, my email. Like, there's so many other things that you can put in there and people are actually, surprisingly enough, like, people are actually pretty intrigued to like click on a Linktree link. So
yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. And Corey's saying keywords are everything. I agree with that, man. Corey, you're a smart dude, man. I like you. I'm looking forward. I think I'm actually going to see you here pretty soon in California. So I'm excited to have some conversations with Corey. Brittany, did we take all your thunder there, or is there more about Instagram that we need to talk about before we move on?
She's smiling.
Yeah.
No,
she's frozen smiling.
You guys kind of nailed it on the head there, but also just keep in mind
we lost her again. Here, Corey says keyword should be first letter capitalized, separated by a dash. Nicely done. Done. Thanks is good, Corey. This is good stuff. All right, so Brittany's texting me. I think she's going to be right back with us.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on Instagram, David?
I just think. Sorry, I can't do two things at once. Sorry. Hey, this is live TV. Whatever. I'm typing to Brittany real quick.
No, all good.
But yeah, I think that with Instagram, it's just important. Okay, I'm going crazy. Yes, can't wait to hang at DJ Recharge as well. I thought you were going, Corey, but this has been a whirlwind of 2 days for me. I think everybody knows why. And so I knew that you and I chatted about that, but then I was second guessing myself for a second here, but I knew we did chat about that. I can't wait, because you were asking me about MPI. I can't wait to chat with you, Corey, about that and about all this. And now that I know that you're into all this other stuff too, like I feel like we're going to be talking a lot at Recharge, no doubt about it. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, Squirrel, focus. All right. Yeah, Nick, I mean, as far as Instagram goes, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has their opinion about Instagram. But to me, the most important thing about Instagram is keep it as close to who you are as possible. Like I said, whether it's your own personal name, and if you're not comfortable using your own personal name, because some people aren't, and that's okay, maybe your business name, but something that if somebody was like in a deserted island, and all they had was their phone, and their phone couldn't get on, on a web browser, and they couldn't get on anything but Instagram, and their whole mission in life was to find you, right? Yeah. Then how would they do it? And then somebody said, think about the person not using Instagram as well. Very good. If they're not, that's an excellent point, actually.
Yep.
If people are not familiar with how Instagram works and the nuances of Instagram, man, you got to even think about that as well. That's a hell of a good point, Nick.
Right. I mean, I know for a fact, like, I don't have a personal Instagram, so I'm one of those people. So definitely so. I mean, Instagram is a very neat, it's not, but it is. Like, it's a niche platform. Like, I know a lot more people that have a Facebook than people that have an Instagram, for sure. And especially Instagram's popular amongst, like, I've noticed, like, the younger people for the most part. But parents of brides and grooms, like, they're definitely, like, very few that I've come across, like, are on Facebook. I mean, I know there's some, but it's, that's absolutely just a great point to keep in mind. And pretty much what David said, make it easy to find you, try not to use any crazy names. I unfortunately couldn't get just NAS Visuals. Like, I had to do a NAS Visuals _ LLC. I tried negotiating with the guy too. He was like, no.
And he's not even, I remember you telling me about this, and he's not even really using it that much.
Yeah, he hasn't posted on it in years. I was just like,
crazy.
All right.
Well, another thought on this too is that there are so many ways that you can integrate these things as well. So make sure that you integrate your Instagram with your Facebook. Make sure,
definitely.
And there's settings and things that you can use so that, excuse me, so that if you don't want to always post everything to Facebook that you post to Instagram, you don't have to, but still integrate those things, connect them, make sure that they connect and talk to each other, because that could help the person on Facebook that is prolific in Facebook and said, I'm never going to get on Instagram, but they're on Facebook. There's a good chance that they might actually find you that way, because you do have those, mixed together or talking to each other, or whatever the proper fucking term to use is. And, you're good to go. Man, I'm on fire tonight. I don't know why.
Dude, I love it. I love it. But one thing I want to just add to that at the end, I like how you said connected. And then also, I hate to get lectury, and, like, I'm not a marketing guru, but this is just, like, my personal experience. Like, you should have like a funnel, like a sales funnel, like a marketing funnel. So if someone finds you on Pinterest, or someone finds you on Twitter, or someone finds you on Instagram, the next phase, where do you want them to go? Like, I personally want them to go to my website. You might want them to go to your Facebook page, or whatever way to continue the sales conversation is how I've heard it from other people. You want to continue that conversation. You want to continue to get them into, continue to buy. Like, that's the purchase. That's the point, is for them to purchase from you. So you want to try to continue to get them down the funnel. So you need to make sure that those things are linked to whatever that is. For me, it's my website. I'm sure for David as well, it's his website. And you just want to make sure that you're continuing the conversation. You're not cutting it off. Like, if the end all is Instagram for your business, like, that's a problem, in my opinion. I mean, send me a DM for rates. How many times have you seen send DM for rates? Like, as a photographer, like, I see it all the time. As a videographer and photographer, I see it all the time. DM me for rates. I guess for some people it works, but I want to continue the conversation a little bit more. And I think it's definitely something to aspire to.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said about sales funnel, and we're having a little bit of trouble with Brittany again. I apologize, those of you guys that are watching. Stick around with us. She's going to get back on, I promise. She's out on the West Coast, and they're just having some weather issues. So trying to get that resolved. We're going to get Brittany back on. And when we do, we're going to jump right into her thoughts on business cards, because I know we had a couple of viewers that definitely, they've been sticking around, and I appreciate the fact that they've been sticking around. We're already almost at an hour that we've been going tonight, right? Wow. And so they've been sticking around and waiting for that. And as soon as we get her back on, we're going to jump onto that. But while we wait on her to be able to get back in, you guys, again, feel free to drop comments, drop questions. We want to help you guys out. We want to answer your questions. We've got a lot of interaction from people that are watching and offering suggestions as well. Dawson, Corey, these guys are providing some really, just some more meat and potatoes to the subject here. So this is all about, like, this is just not us. We're not like all fix all answer to everything. We can only share with you what's working for us and what has worked. In my case, has worked for many, many years. In Nick's case, still kind of new to the industry, but but you're still doing amazing things in such a short period of time. And part of that is because you have the luxury of having people that want to help you and want to kind of help you avoid those pitfalls and say, hey, man, I've already been down that path. That path friggin' sucks. Like, don't go that way, unless you just want to fall on your face. And if you do, then that's okay. Right. And sometimes, like in business, sometimes we do have to fall on our face in order to, really have something make a big enough impact on us that it sticks with us. And so definitely. I get that. Okay, Brittany's back. I'm bringing Brittany back on. And Brittany, I know you can hear me. We are going right into why you are a fan of business cards. Bring it.
Okay, I'm going to start. I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Yes.
Business cards. I love them. I don't know if you guys think they're old school, but I've been in so many situations where I'm in public and you guys are scaring me every time you shake your head. No, I'm in public and someone's asking, I just build a connection. I talk to people, I don't know, or maybe I'm at an event and someone asks me, how do I get a hold of you? I don't know. What do I hand them? Follow me on social media, maybe? What if they don't have social media? It's not that great of a connection when I can't be like, oh, here's my business card. Or do you have a pen and paper so I can write down my email for you or my number? Or, I know there are ways around them, but I personally love when someone hands me a business card when I'll put it in my wallet and I'll always go back to it, or it'll pop up and then it will remind me about that company. So I know they're kind of old school, but I don't love the idea of just saying, oh, do you have a pen? Or can you just pull out your phone really quick? Because then you kind of lose that connection or conversation you were having.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't cost a ton. If you believe you don't hand them out that much, then you're still going to have a bunch left and you only need them for those situations. But it's always nice to have. I always appreciate when someone can just hand me their business card instead of being like, oh, Google me. Well, and also, David, you might some businesses have similar names. We do as coastal coordinating. Mm-hmm. How do I know they're not going to Google the wrong company? And then because they just have to remember my name, or maybe they don't want to pull out their phone. I also don't love being like, can you pull your phone out? And if they don't do it to begin with. So a business card has a name on it. They're not going to Google the wrong person. They're not going to find somebody else right away. And I don't know. That's my thought on business cards. And I could probably talk more about it, but I want to hear your thoughts as well. And anyone that wants to leave a comment.
Yes, drop comments, but Brittany knows what's up. I love that. I mean, I've gotten burned so many times not having a business card. When someone has asked me like, hey, let me get a business card. I'm just like,
Oh, it's the worst.
And it's terrible. It feels so bad. You're like, I'm supposed to be like a business owner, like on top of this. And like, I don't have a business card. And it's like, oh yeah, here, I can give you my Instagram. It's like, oh, it's a little unprofessional. Like, I definitely like having a business card, something I can pull out. And then they have everything. So You've got Instagram, you've got Facebook. If you want to email me, if you want to call or text me, like that's everything. And I throw a picture on the back of mine so you can actually see my face. So you remember what I look like. So I definitely like that. And we got a comment here from Corey.
Corey brought up the RFID, the digital business cards. Now, Hello Blue is a good one. I bought one from those guys, and those are actually cool. Like, if you guys are not familiar with them, essentially it's it looks like a credit card, and it has an RFID into it, which basically means when you take that card and you put it up against somebody's phone, it'll pull up essentially a browser that has all of your information. You can have your photo, it can have your social media links, it can have your website address. And this is kind of really a modern day cool alternative to kind of being in between. So like Corey says it's a great backup as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So like maybe you don't want to be old school and hand out paper business cards. And the funny thing about business cards to me are they're so cheap now if you buy a bunch of them. So like you buy 1,000 of them, or you buy whatever, you're never going to get rid of that many, but you're like, well, 500 cost me, $20, but 1,000 cost me $24. That's a no-brainer. I'm just going to get the 1,000, right? But then it's going to take you forever to give these damn things away, right?
Yeah.
Or what if something on them becomes outdated? Or what if you do something stupid like I do and put the picture of everybody on your staff, and then all of a sudden somebody decides to leave you 2 weeks after you do that shit, right? Yeah. So like things like that. Like, I get it. Like, this is why I'm not a big fan of the friggin', old school business card. Mm-hmm. But I love Corey's suggestion about the RFID, the more modernized business cards where you're paying for it once. It might be, I don't know what they are, $29, $39, whatever they are. The bottom line is you're only paying that once, right? And then all you're doing is carrying this card around with you. You're tapping the shit out of everybody's phone with it. You're giving all your information to everybody every time you do that. And it works really well. And you can update that information, right? So like if I've got a picture of all my staff members and some jabroni decides to leave, then that's great. We just, Photoshop his ass out of the photo, and we put a new one up there, and then we're good to go. And we don't have to reprint a whole bunch of more cards.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
those are really great points. And I think having a variety is really important too. Like so I have the RFID if I want to do that, or if it's a backup, or I forgot some business cards, or I have the physical business card. If, this is someone who maybe, isn't familiar with the technology, and you can kind of read that, like, oh, hey, I've got this, technology, you want to try it. I also have like the RFID, I guess they're not RFID, but they're like the QR code, like stickers. And I throw them all over my equipment and stuff. And like, I always think it's fun. Like when someone, like I was filming a concert for a band, and I had the stickers on there, and there were kids just coming up to it, like putting their phones on it to see like what it was. And like, they just knew what it was. And my website was popping up. So, I mean, there's tons of fun, cool things you can do in today's age, but I love my business cards.
Well, and what do you guys do at a wedding? Just curious, because some, you usually have that nice cover to cover your set. I don't know what that's called, but and if you're not branding, or maybe you are branding, but what about the wedding guests? How are they remembering you? I know you're talking a lot about hey, drinking. Like, what if does anyone walk up to you, ask for information, or like, should they remember? Where's your branding, at least to make up for the things? And then also generational, like some people aren't tech savvy. And some generations, some people are not into social media, and they're not into that pull out your phone type of game. So I don't know. I just think it's always good to have a backup plan.
Real quickly, guys, I just got to interject for a second and bring this up. My sweet friend, Kristen Wilson in Orlando. My God, I miss hanging out with the man. Every time I see these people pop up, Kristen, I miss the hell out of you. Thank you for watching. And it's sad when you know that somebody is that close to you. But yet, because of what's going on right now, you're not able to hang out with them as much as you'd like to. So thank you for checking in with us, Kristen. I apologize to interrupt the flow, but I want to hopefully catch her in case she was just popping in for a second.
Appreciate
thanks
her
for watching, Kristen. Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. You've kind of convinced me that maybe I just need to go spend the $24 to get the 1,000 business cards, and I just won't put everybody's picture on it or something like that. But all joking aside, I think those are some valid points. I mean, they're depending on what you do, and we don't want this to be all just about DJs, even though we're kind of talking to a DJ group right now, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, you do bring up a good point, Brittany, that we don't want our facades as front boards, or like those of us that bought the command center. Shout out to Bun Gear. You don't want to have that all logoed up and all this stuff at a wedding and so on and so forth. I think that kind of like you're going to get a phone call from the 80s saying they want their decals back. Like that stuff just not really happening anymore. But you're right. You do want to have some sort of branding with you. You do want to have some sort of you do want to have some sort of a takeaway, something they can take away with them. And you're right. Some people may not want to pull their phone out. They might feel that that's a little bit intrusive. What the hell are you doing on my phone? Like,
right.
Not familiar with what this RFID does, and then you got to explain to them, it's this nice little credit card thing. You tap your phone with it, and all this shit comes up. Like, you don't want to go through all that, especially if it's just a quick interaction of, hey, dude, how can I get a hold of you? So that makes sense. Brian says, when someone asks me for a business card, I always ask them if they have an event coming up. I try to get their information to follow up. Now, let me tell you something, Brian, that is a hell of a good, I'm going to put that back up. I personally think that that's a phenomenal, good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Every chance you get, always try to get somebody else's contact information from them. You don't want to put them in a headlock and tell them they can't leave until they give it to you, but always try to get their information from them. Because even if you hand them a business card, you don't know if it's going to end up in the trash, at the bottom, underneath all their McDonald's and Burger King bags in the floorboard of their car, or you don't know where it's going to end up, right? But if you get their information, then you know that you have the ability to reach out to them again. And at the end of the day, think about this. Who's really more motivated to reach out to the other one? You who have somebody who have just said to you, hey, listen, I've got an event coming up and I'd like to hire a DJ. Are you more inclined to reach out to them than they are you? I'm going to tell you yes. If you don't think you are, you definitely are. So you want to make sure that you can get their information. I think that's a very valid point, Brian.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's a fantastic point.
I think just bouncing off of that point and kind of going a little deeper into a new subject, I guess, would be when you are getting their information. I think follow-up is so important. I can't tell you how many times I have a great conversation on the phone. In my mind, they're booking for sure with us. They're ready to go, right? a week goes by. I've already followed up. I didn't hear from him. Okay. Now I kind of feel like annoying, but I'm going to follow up again, check in. Hey, are you still in the market? And I can't tell you how many times they're like, oh, absolutely. I've been so busy. I'm sorry. Can you I like that you're staying on me. Cause
wow.
I'm not, and that happens all the time. And if I don't follow up, I lost the lead. And that I can tell you right now, I've gotten so many leads just because I had to follow up. And they're talking to other people. Like at the end of the day, they're going to hire a DJ. They're probably going to talk to 3 of you, maybe more. You want to be the first one that grabs their attention, but you want to stay in their mind because you could be competing versus someone else that is having a great conversation as well. But who's going to be the one following up and ensuring that you're staying relevant?
Well, and to that point, I can't tell you how many times, and I think we could have a whole live conversation, and we really should at some point about this, about a follow-up. Some people call it a drip sequence. Some call it an email follow-up sequence, whatever you want to call it. The bottom line is it's you kind of just poking the bear a little bit. Hey, you ready? Hey, you ready? Hey, you ready? Because you don't know where they are in the buying process. And the buying process is something that you should really be familiar with as well. Like if you don't really totally grasp what the buying process means, that's an important thing to really think about too, because just because somebody is inquiring, about, a DJ, for example, they're only doing it because they figure, well, I'm getting married and I'm having this party, so I probably need a DJ. But that doesn't even mean they're remotely ready to say yes to anybody, let alone you. And so this is why, to me, driving home this whole process of making sure that you have their information from them, it allows you to continue to, like I said, kind of poke the bear a little bit. Hey, just drop it in to see how things are going. Or maybe your next email that you send to them 3 or 4 days later is one of the things we talked about before. Hey, we put this Pinterest ad, or we put this post up on Pinterest a couple weeks ago. I know that you mentioned that you're looking for this wild, fun party thing, and we love the glow sticks and all of that stuff. And we put this Pinterest thing up, and it might help you with your decision and how to implement that into your wedding. So it's one more thing that you're touching them. And I'm telling you, like, for example, in our company, we have probably at least an 8 to 10 email sequence that people get, and they're spaced out over 45 days. Almost nobody ever gets to the end of it, because by the time they get through 3 or 4 of them, we've either made a decision or they've told me to F off and, we're going somewhere else or whatever. And then we just don't send them their emails anymore. But I can't tell you how many times we've booked events on email number 7 or email number 9, where in my brain, I'm like, shit, I didn't even remember talking to these people. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's, they're like, oh yeah, I've been so busy, but thank you for reminding me. And here comes my buddy, Derek. Hey, Derek, man, I hope you're doing well tonight. Following up with my leads right now as you guys are talking about it. I love that. Love that. Good to see you, Derek. Thank you for joining us tonight. So there you go. Proof in the pudding. Derek's doing it as we're talking. So, man, I don't know how we got from talking about business cards to this, but I love that we did, because I think this is so important.
Yeah. And I think even with Corona and everything going on, I have a couple of leads that have told me, we really wanted to move forward. Right now, we need to give it some time because we don't want a non-refundable deposit situation or whatever your policy is to affect us. So now I have a whole separate system of when to follow back up with these COVID people that are not ready to sign yet, but will in the future. But what happens if that's a couple months and they're like, oh, let me search for planners again? Because they're probably out of my mind if I just have a system to remember them. So I'm sure I'm out of theirs unless I really stuck through, or they maybe have talked to other ones and then they get confused at who they talked with. And so it's so important. The follow-up is everything.
Yeah, those are all great points. And one thing I just wanted to kind of circle back to for a second was for new business owners, the point Brittany made about just really resonated with me. It was like, oh, thank you for following back up with me. I think a lot of times, especially when you're getting started in business, it's really easy to be like, oh, I don't want to be annoying or sound needy or desperate. But sometimes, like David said too, you just need to not be aggressive, but just poke the bear. Hey, how are you doing? Just wanted to circle back. Nothing aggressive or crazy, but I think that was really just a fantastic point, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I feel like, God, I don't want to look desperate if I do this, right? So.
Yeah. And sometimes I even feel annoying, and I'll say I'll make a little joke about it. Hey, just my weekly follow-up, just making sure, hey, do you need anything? Do you have a question? I'm not trying to sell them a service at this point. I'm just popping in to make sure you don't need anything. Make sure I sent you everything. just finding fun terms to say to them. I'm never like, hey, are you going to book with me? Or like,
right.
I need an answer. I'm
Exactly.
just reminding them, trying to pop back up in their inbox. And I really think that is important.
Perfect.
And
yeah, no, great.
Brittany, talk a little bit to the point about how it's important to understand too that it can't be like a one size fits all. Like you mentioned, you know, these couples who have clearly said to you, and it's important to listen to what people are saying to you. You know, if somebody says to you, hey, we're not in a position to make a decision until, you know, 2 months from now or after this COVID shit is over with or whatever, like if they have clearly said that to you, this is where this sequence can bite you in the ass if you keep sending them emails, right? And they've already told you we're not making a decision until 2 months from now. Every email in the world is not going to convince them to make that decision any sooner. And It's probably going to piss them off more than it's going to, you know, make them be interested in you. So I think definitely be respectful to what they tell you if that's the case. So my point in all that is to really be sure and be aware of the fact that you can't just have a one size fits all email drip sequence that will satisfy every situation.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I've personally, because it's a new situation, if they've told me that, and I think I've had 3, so there hasn't been that many, which has been good. But now those 3 have each specified, like, I'm going to check back in a month. Or sometimes they'll say to me, please follow up with me in a month, so I don't forget, which is super nice because I'm like, okay, great. Now I know I'm not annoying you. You're kind of asking for it. But either way, I was gonna. But I'll put them in a whole separate filing system of like, these are people that gave me a specific time to follow up, or I'll add it to my calendar. Shout out to Google Calendars because that's like all we use. And I'll just put in a month from now, hey, check in on that lead that said they're still hesitant with Corona, and I'll just follow up with them and say, hey, just checking in. You know, I know things are tough. If you have any questions of what's going on in the industry right now, you know, I can jump on a call and kind of explain how weddings are working right now, what it may look like in the future. And you're just offering them help. You're not really offering them to technically buy your service just yet, but they, in return, they most likely will.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep, absolutely makes
Very
sense.
good.
Well, I think we've definitely addressed some really good stuff. I hope that our friend that was on early that said that they wanted to hear about the business cards. I know we kind of went off on a tangent about that, but nevertheless, I mean, you guys definitely make some very good points. You know, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I still think that for me, the old RFID business card is my go-to, but having some others as a backup is not a bad idea. You've definitely convinced me of that. I think that really makes sense. All right, so we're going to wrap up in just a few minutes. We want to give everybody one more chance. If you've got questions about anything we've talked about tonight, if you've got comments about anything that we've talked about tonight, please drop those in the comments now before we wrap up. And just real quickly, Brittany, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot here a little bit, but I want to go down each one of these before we let everybody go. I want to go down each one of these kind of bullet points that we've talked about. Yep. And maybe if you would just give people watching, you know, now live, and then hopefully people that will see the replay of this, just give them maybe one actionable step that they can do right now as soon as they get off of here. One actionable step they can do in kind of each one of these areas to really help improve their business. All right. So first one we talked about was guerrilla marketing, getting out there and not just on social media. One good tip that people can do immediately.
Contact a local spot of yours that you like and just see if you can host a small, it's not even an event, just see if you can do a little setup there. If you need some ideas, I have a million ideas always running through my head. So I would be happy to just tell you what an option to do, an idea. But I think connecting with, even if it's like a local humane society we're connecting with, some way to give back, or just go to your local brewery, set up a spot. They're still doing outdoor seating and still people are still taking beers to go, right? So just, I think a pop-up event in the community, especially right now, is a good option.
Okay, love it. Real quick, I'm
Nice.
just going to bring this in. This is my good friend Kelly Dobb. I know it says Facebook user, but I know this is her. She asked, "How am I doing with Pinterest?" Let me tell you, this is I wish it didn't say Facebook user, but Kelly is somebody, and it's KELLIE. DAAB. Definitely look Kelly up. She is a whiz on Pinterest. She helped me get things going with my Pinterest for my company, and some really, really good results really, really quickly too. So definitely somebody that can help you. So shout out to Kelly. Thanks for checking in on that. All right. One actionable step. I think we already know this, but anyways, the email and contact being easily accessible. One actionable step you can do.
I think Nick kind of touched base on this. Have the number at the top of your page and an email address, and fix your Instagram so that there's a contact option, because not everybody has that email app.
Perfect. All right. Pinterest. I was a little ahead of myself on that. I should have waited until now to do that. But anyways, Pinterest. What's one actionable step somebody can do right now to get, even if they don't have a Pinterest, to get started with Pinterest?
Oh, okay. Start a business profile. To be honest, contact your friend or someone that can help you, or there's a bunch of free classes online. Google search Pinterest class, and it'll a 10-minute video on how to do your business. They're going to give you a bunch of tips. Asking for help sometimes is the best way to figure it out, especially if you're not on Pinterest. And then start a Pinterest and link everything back. If you already have one, go back to your old posts, see what you're doing, see what you were doing wrong. Start a new one and see the difference. When you have a title, a description, it's linked back.
Yeah, and I think another good idea too, maybe before you start going on Pinterest and pinning a bunch of shit that doesn't do anything for you, maybe do a little research on Pinterest and look at other companies in your field, whether you're a DJ or you're a videographer, photographer, whatever it is you do. Look at some other Pinterest accounts out there that, Corey, thank you so much, man. Thank you for saying that and being on here with us tonight. Look at what they're doing and look at what pins are getting repinned a lot. Look at what pins are getting a lot of traction. And I think you're going to see a lot of commonalities in what Brittany said with those pins, and then tailor some things after that. I think you bring up a good point. There's a lot of free resources out there. I know Kelly, we were just talking about her. She has just a fountain of information to help you get started. And if you really want to be serious about your Pinterest account, you really want to be serious about building your Pinterest presence, don't be afraid to spend a little money. Listen, let's be honest. I'm never afraid to say this. It takes money to make money. So free ain't shit for very long. It's okay to get free advice. It's okay to get free tips. It's okay to get free help. But at the end of the day, at some point in time, if you want to go from where you are to where you want to be, you're going to have to spend some money to do it. And I don't mind telling you that. And I don't mind telling myself that because it's so important. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're just kind of giving you, we're giving you the first couple of ingredients to make this masterpiece meal. But you're going to have to go to the store, which that store might be Kelly or somebody like Kelly. I just, prefer Kelly because I know her. I've worked with her. She's done a really good job. Brittany has a service that can help you as well. You're going to have to hire somebody who knows more than you do about what you're trying to figure out so they can help you get there in a faster time instead of beating your head up against a damn wall until you bust it open.
Yeah. And I think a good option too is if you're talking about wanting to spend some money, people get afraid to hire maybe a marketing person. A lot of marketing companies will give you the layout and then that's all they help you with. So you're just paying one fee, one time. They'll create a layout for you, some ideas, what you need to do. And it's just a matter of you doing the work. So that's an option too. You don't have to invest in someone that you're paying monthly, right? As long as you're willing to do the work or invest. And when you do invest, if you think about these things, like you invest in one class that maybe costs, even if it's $500, well, what if that gets you one lead? Then it's paid for itself. If it gets you two, it's more than paid for itself, depending on pricing, of course. So just always think about that. A lot of it comes right back into your pocket.
Yeah. That's an absolutely great way to look at that. And I've had to kind of retrain myself as a business owner to think that way in terms of ROI, right? Like it's always like, all right, well, this is like half an event, it's going to pay dividends. Even like in advertising too, I've really had to, in terms of how I market my social media ads, it's like, all right, this is this much money, but, like you said, it's going to come right back to you. So
yeah, and that's something Katie's always talked about. So shout out to Katie because that was her.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. She was on with us last week. We loved it. That was a great chat. Okay, we got two more. Instagram is not the first place people are searching for you. Give us an actionable step to rectify that.
Yeah, so check your SEOs. Instagram's so important. I understand, but besides that, check all your other platforms. Make sure if you have a website. Every page on your website needs to have at least 500 words. I think that's something people, I don't know if they don't know that, if they haven't, if you're creating your own website, that's a helpful tip. Those words, those are all keywords and they need to be on Google when people are searching for you. So think about that. We could have a whole conversation on how to use Instagram, but this is more just some other options where people are also searching you that I think people forget about. Like, is your Google homepage set up as a business page with pictures and reviews? And because that's where I still Google for businesses. I don't use Instagram. Yep. I just backtrack onto it when I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think Instagram is a good place for people to see what you're doing and what you have going on once they find you. But it may not be the best. It may not be the best bet to make. I'll go back to my my casino references earlier, my poker references earlier. Instagram might not be the best hand to play when you're playing a hand for people to find you. So I think that's a very valid point. Absolutely. And then go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, that's all I was going to say. It's definitely not the place to find. There's a million and other places you should be, set up and optimized before Instagram. We kind of talked about it earlier, but definitely.
Yep. And then, business card. You're a fan of the business card. You have you have brought me partially over to the dark side with Nick over there with you guys. But one actionable step as it pertains to business cards, and maybe if you have them, maybe a way to use them differently than you maybe have been using them up to this point.
Yeah. So, that's a good question. I always use them mainly, so they're not necessary. I don't like to tell somebody to find me on social media or to pull out their phone. And I do, if I know them or I know that like they're probably pretty tech savvy, we've had a conversation, hey, pull up your phone, follow me. But for a business card, I would say create them. Even start with a small pack. I know it's cheaper to go big, or just go big and then you have extra. Leave them in businesses. I don't know if you've been to like some coffee shops, have a little rack for business cards. And when people are waiting, they go through those business cards. My family owned a restaurant and that's all people did. Like, it sounds so minor because I couldn't believe people wanted to put their business cards down. I was like, nobody cares about this. It's a restaurant. Why does anyone want it? But they're waiting and they're just, I know most of us are on our phones as well, but you have some people just flipping through and they're taking them. And it's crazy how many people would do that. So I think just leaving them at businesses, you can ask the business. Usually they're more than happy to have them.
That's awesome.
Well, I think that you have definitely provided us with a lot of good conversation, a lot of good things to think about. Nick is going to be signing off of here immediately and going and making himself a business page on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go see if I can pull up the old template of my business card and adjust that a little bit and maybe order some new ones myself.
Yes.
So, I definitely appreciate you joining us tonight. I hope that the people that watch this and the people that will watch the replay of this will get something from it. Just want to remind folks, after this live is over with, we are going to post it on our YouTube channel, and we'll post it a couple other places. You'll be able to see it again. If you're watching the replay of this and you have a question about anything that was brought up tonight, please put those questions or comments in the comment section where they go, obviously, and we'll definitely be monitoring those even after the live. We really want to be a resource to help you guys out and just help your business be the best business it can possibly be. So thank you for being on tonight.
Yes,
we are definitely dedicating this episode tonight to the memory of Ray Martinez. Definitely probably one of the best people in the entire world that was gone way too soon. But for those of us who had the opportunity for him to be a part of our lives, we're better people because of it. So
definitely.
So happy to have been able to have that. So Brittany, thank you very much for being on with us tonight. Everybody watching, thanks for watching tonight. Nick, you want to wrap us up?
Hey, Brittany, we appreciate it. We appreciate everyone that was on here, leaving comments and giving feedback and having the conversation. So appreciate everyone. Miss you, Ray. That's it.
Bye, guys. Bye.